All right, hello, physics. Welcome to week 3. I want to make a video where I'm going to show you how to get set up for this week, um, and what you're going to be doing through an example. This week we're doing mixed circuits again. We're kind of reviewing or doing more of what we did last week, but taking a little further as well. So I'm going to have you solve. So we have three circuits. And I'm going to have you solve for total resistance, solve for total current, just like you did in the last worksheet. So same thing there, just different circuits. But what I'm also going to have you do is I'm going to have you build the circuits in the simulator, where you're going to use light bulbs for the resistors and so forth. So this will be in the FAT simulator that we've done before, but I'm going to show you some kind of new things with that and how to get started with that. So let's go to a new tab in Google. So we're going to go to fet.colorado.edu, and we're going to search for the circuit construction kit. So looks like we have this one is the DC. That's all. That's the one. And I'll put a link for this in the folder. But one thing I'm going to say before we run this is I do not believe this runs on every browser, unfortunately. So make sure you're on Chrome or I think Mozilla Firefox is good. I'm pretty sure those two run. Other than that, I'm not sure. It may run on others, but if you're having issues with it not running, just make sure you're on Chrome or Mozilla. Okay, so click on the intro and you just be in the blank kit builder. So I'm going to build an example from last week, actually. I'm going to build this circuit right here as my example. So I have battery, 2 resistors in parallel, 1 resistor in series to that. So battery, some wires. So I'm just really going to draw exactly what I see in the picture. So light bulbs for resistors. Okay, these two guys are in parallel. Okay, make those connections. Make sure it turns black like that, like they're actually connected. If it stays red, that means that they're not connected. Make sure when you move one, it moves everything with it. All right, and then one was in series to that, then connected back to the battery. Okay, so I have an operating circuit, and it lights up. It's good. Make sure that happens. But the one thing is, I don't know what these resistances are. I don't know what the battery. I don't know if they're what I want them to be. So if I go to that example I'm looking at, they don't actually. It has a voltage, it doesn't have a resistance. So I'm actually going to use the values of this first circuit on this worksheet. So I'm going to make all the resistors 25, and I make the battery 20 volts. So how you do that is you click on an object you want to modify. So if I click on the battery, I have this little guy come down here. I have a slider where I can change the voltage, and then you can click as well. So if I go, I want this to be 20. So I'll get 20. Okay, if you're off by 0.5, you just adjust them. And then I want all of these to be 25 ohms. 25, 25, and 25. Okay, so now I've built the correct circuit with all the correct representation of brightness. Okay, and what I can see is that this bulb is resistor 3 is bright, and then resistor 1 and 2 are equally bright, but they're not as bright. Okay. So we're gonna have you use the second or the third part. So I want you to rank the current of the running through each resistor based on the brightness. So I'm gonna have you rank the current. So what that's gonna look like is, so this is resistor 3. This is 1 and 2, I believe. So I'm gonna take a quick snip of this so I can write on the screen right here. So if this is R3, this is R1, and this is R2. So the current, the current in R1 is I1. I'm just going to label them, right? I1 refers to the current in R1. So I want to rank I1, I2, and I3. So what I see is that the brightness in I1, or sorry, the brightness in R1 and R2 is the same. So that means that their current is going to be the same. And then it looks like I3 is greater, right? It's brighter. So I'm going to say that I3 current is greater than I1, which is equal to I2. So that's my ranking right there. You could also say I1 is equal to I2 is less than I3 because they're less bright. Could have done it as I1 equals I2 is less than I3. Same thing. But that's what I'm looking for on the worksheet, is like kind of an order like that where you're ranking them. And something to keep in mind is how do I figure this out is that, right, brightness is proportional to the current value. So if I have more current, then it's going to be brighter. If I have less current, it's going to be less, it's going to be dimmer, less bright. Okay, if you look back in the review notes, that's something we figured out, learned. So based on the brightness, rank the currents like this, and that is the last part of each problem, and then you should be good to go. As always, please let me know if you have further questions or if anything was unclear. And I have office hours Wednesdays and Thursdays. Let's go over that.